I just want you to ramble.
Okay,
So this is Al. Pronounce your last name.
Metzinger.
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 M-E-T-Z-I-N-G-E-R.
And you're from?
Rochester, New York.
All right.
Don't ever go there. If you live there, that's fine, but nice place to visit.
Yeah, I gotcha. So you volunteered to give me a couple stories, or
yes, I've been lucky enough. I've been down to all 12 Derby City Classics, but I ran into your dad before Derby City. I think one of the first times I saw him was when he was commentating for a match. Grady was running a tournament down in Gulfport, Mississippi. No, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, excuse me.
Right.
He was down there. Grady had 3 tournaments over a period of time, and one time your dad was a commentator on the AccuStats thing. And I got my first notoriety or notification. Your dad was broadcasting, and he had known me and known my name by that time. So when there was a lull in the conversation, he said, "Oh, there's Al Metzinger down there." He says he's a noted player from Syracuse, okay. And then he also said, "Well, he always wears these hats, and the Panama hats."
Famous hat.
And so and he says, "Well, let's call him Panama Jack." So that's where I got my nickname.
All right.
Panama Jack.
Oh,
yeah.
sweet.
So that was the very, very first time.
And when was that?
That was way back when it must be 10, 12, 13 years ago when Grady had three terms. He got a casino to run, give him space, and they could run the tournament in one spot, and then they had to go down to Lambert's, a famous gambling place where they all went afterwards and gambled their brains out. Yeah, so they had to go 2 separate places, not like this. And so that's where I got my nickname and my minutes of fame. And then but I told him afterwards, I says, I don't live in Syracuse. And he says,
I live in Rochester.
Yeah, and he says, "Do you want me to blow all your cover?" He says.
That's cute.
Yeah, he said he didn't want, he says, "You get them when you want to get them, and you didn't want them to come running to Rochester."
That's true.
So.
I want to get a picture of the back of your shirt then with that.
Okay, yeah.
Which says, so you're a one-pocket aficionado. One pocket, it's an epidemic, and there ain't no cure by Strawberry Brooks.
Callaway had these shirts made up a few years ago for the one-pocket dinner and stuff like that. Yeah, and I was lucky to get one. He personalized it with my
they're beautiful.
My
Is that Cal?
Yeah, that's Cal.
Cal Callaway. I tried to get him before he left.
Yeah,
so.
he wasn't feeling too good. So like that. Well, and one of the other things that I was a little bit privy to was Greg and your dad used to hook up at Derby City,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I didn't hook up all the time, but maybe they did. But I was privy to one of their hookups, and they had it like in a private room, Greg's room. And they were playing, and I was just like a church mouse. I sat over in the corner there, and I was as quiet as I could be,
What were they playing?
They were playing one pocket. They were playing.
Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I didn't know if they were playing cards or because Dad played a lot of things.
Yeah, no, they were playing one pocket, and they were going along. Now I wasn't privy to how much they were betting, but they were betting, and right at the very end of the match, your dad had an easy shot into his pocket, just a short angle, way up the table, and he made believe like he dogged it. He missed it so bad, that he 4-railed it. He did it on purpose. He missed it on purpose. Went 4 rails back around the table and into his pocket.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where he could have just bunted it in before, yeah. So
that's good. Always the showman.
Yeah, always the showman. Yeah, and he had this wry smile on his face, and it was just wonderful. So then when I would see these guys afterwards at different times, I would ask them. I would say, "Well, how did you guys make out?" or something like that. And Greg would say, "Well," he says, "I still own Diamond Billiards." And I said, "Oh, okay." So then I would see him another year, and I say, "Well," or another time, I'd say, well, what's the score here? You know, what are you guys? I know you guys are playing, and I say still, and it went from still to less still, own the company, to more still, to even still, and all this other sort of stuff. So, you know, I never got privy to how much was passing back and forth and whether, you know, what it was, but I would ask one, and he would say, more still I own the company, less still I own the company. So that was a cute little thing. We walked by and we'd say still. So that was fun.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that was very, very good.
Well, there have been times my dad has actually, he basically auctioned it all off, you know, so you never know if we're going to still own the house.
Yeah.
There have been times we still didn't own the car at one point. The car went, 2 cars in Johnson City.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we ran through the cash and the cars, so that was pretty major.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the life of, you know, there's good times and then there's other times. And then I asked your dad about betting and things like that, and he gave me some good advice about it.
Don't bet.
Well, yeah, don't bet is a good one. But really the thing is don't agree with anything the other guy wants to do. Like if he wants to play for, you know, $5 or $15,000 or, you know, whatever it is, you always say no. We'll play. If he wants to play for $5,000, you'll say we'll play for $8,000 or we'll play for $3,000. So you never agree with him. And then he says, well, we're going to play a 9-ball, and you say, oh no, we're playing 1 pocket. And then you know, and then he says,
disarms the opponent. That's good.
You never give in to him. And then he says, well, he says I want to play over there, and you say, no, we're not going to play over there. We play over there. So he's out of sights, you know, sorts, even before you start doing that.
That's a really good pointer.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. And then I asked him about the old days, because those guys, you know, played like marathon matches, and he was saying that one time.
They played days at a time sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened. He told me one time. I said, well, what was the best, or best or the worst? And he said, well, the worst was, he says, I played this one guy 34 hours. He says he was murdering me. Oh, I said, that was really, really bad. He says, yeah, for 34 hours it was really, really bad. But he says we played for 37 and it ended up very, very good. He actually, he pulled
it out.
He pulled it out. He wore the guy right down to a frazzle. So
that's something that he's good at, was just the long play.
Yeah.
He would just stay up all night and just keep going.
That's what it was in those days, and he was in better shape than a lot of those guys. You know, he took care of himself a little bit better, and so that he did that. So, you know, outlast the other guy. Don't ever agree to anything.